Hey guys, well it's Bass Hunter TV here, doing a live about salmon and steelhead fishing in the fall. And I'm going to be telling you guys tips and tricks on how to catch salmon and steelhead. So, basically, salmon, we'll start off with salmon. Um, so salmon, they don't feed when they're in the rivers. You mostly have to do what's called floss salmon. Um, and that's really the only way you can get salmon to bite. Hey, Caleb. Um, that's really the only way you can get them to bite. Um, you can also chase them on the fly. They'll take flies pretty well. They'll take some spawn pretty well. Um, Salmon is like, I guess it's a big fish that not a lot of people can catch because they're always in the lake. But when fall time comes around, they come up to the rivers to spawn, and all like the tributaries along Lake Ontario. So, like, for instance, the Napanee River Napanee, and they get a big run of salmon. The Ganaraska River in Port Hope. LOL, I don't plan on steelhead fishing. LOL, I enjoy watching live videos. Yeah, and basically, well, for steelhead, they are one of the best fish that I've went for the past, like, well, I've been out for them once, and I've been hooked ever since. Um, I've caught close to like 30 steelhead, or like 25 steelheads, and hey, Ethan. Um, and they're fun fish to go for on the fly too, because they'll take just about anything. They take purple leeches. They'll take a like nymph fly, some bead heads. Okay, see ya, Caleb. They'll take streamers, any sort of color. They react to like coho colors, like purples and like light greens. So I mostly fish for them on a steelhead with a what's called a purple leech. Um, they seem to absolutely love it. Um, it's not easy catching them on the fly on the river that I fish for them at, and I mean they are pretty hard fighting fish. I will give them that. Like, I just posted a video up on my um, YouTube here. That one buck steelhead took a while to bring in because you're fighting the current, plus you're fighting the fish. And a fish, I've hooked one before that buck. It had to be like a 20-pounder. Um, Unfortunately, it jumped off. Um, yeah, that was pretty sad. But then second drift in, I hooked up with that big buck steelhead, and was lucky enough to land them. Because steelhead have like really bony mouth, and you can barely get a hook into that. So you really gotta set it hard and like not rush it. So, is there any like questions you guys have for me for steelhead and salmon? Any questions? Just write it in that comment box. If you guys have any sort of questions for salmon or steelhead, you can ask me. I'm here to answer your questions. When will the salmon be in the rivers? Well, Ethan, they start staging at like the mouth of the river in like early to late August. There will be some that come up in early August, but that's only a few that come up. So, yeah, because last year, I believe it was August 29th, I was fishing for smallies on Napanee River, and we seen a salmon try to get up the falls, and I pointed it out to my buddy, and he's like, no way, and yeah, it was a big king. So does that answer your question? Like, they'll start staging to get ready to go upriver, but they'll be staging in like 50 to 100 feet. Any more questions? And like, well, get more on the steelhead topic. I myself am like a beginner steelheader. Um, Here, I'll show you my setups for steelheading. Okay, so on steelhead topic. So, basically what I do for my steelheading is I have a fly rod. Okay? So, this is your conventional fly rod. It's pretty old. Or no, well, it's pretty new actually. Just picked this up Christmas because I lost my other one. But all it is a Martin 6 to 8 weight fly reel. By Caddis Creek. And it's on a Martin fly tackle 8-foot 7/8 weight fly rod. Um, for salmon, I usually run like, well, my normal float line, and I usually have a leader, and that's at like 15 to 20 pound, as high as 30 pound lead for that. And so for salmon, I'll throw big woolly buggers and big like green olive leeches. Okay, for my steelhead rod, won't pull it all out. Pull the main piece out. So this right here is your conventional steelhead rod. It's not a spinning rod. It's a mooching rod, but I never really had a problem with it at all. But like, I might just get the the butt piece extended to about like here, just so I have more leverage. Because basically what you do for steelheading is you like follow your line with the rod, and then whenever the fish takes the float down, you just pop it. Um, now I use a Shimano Conservance. It's a graphite rod. Um, it is there's the serial number or whatever. It's a 10.6. Line weight is 15 to 25 pound. The lure weight is 4 to 8 ounces. It's a medium heavy power, slow action, and it's IM7 graphite construction. That's my like eggs and let's get this camera turned around. But that's my so that's basically what I use for my float and stuff. Fly rod thing. But works pretty good for this rod. Just because it's length, like 10.6, you're looking at 5-foot pieces. So, but if you guys have any more questions, I will ask them or answer them. But yeah, so have any questions? Well, so basically, I'll run like a 15-pound leader for my flies, and that's usually the most I'll go. I'll go as high as 25 to 30 pound, but I barely ever do that. So I ran, well, this year for steelheading, I ran straight 30-pound test to a, well, it's overkill, to a 65-pound test mainline. Because the river's really rocky, and you don't want to be breaking off on fish that are like 2 pounds on rocks. Because when they're 2-pound steelheads, they still fight like a 5-pound bass. Because they use that current to their advantage. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions, I don't know who's on here, but message, like write down in the comments. But yeah, so basically for salmon, I'll throw, haven't really went after them on the fly, but I'm looking forward to this year. I'm going to use that fly rod with like black and green woolly buggers and big streamer flies. Like woolly worms and uh, like a woolly bugger leech or rabbit tail leech. Um, Basically, well, this year I'm going up to Port Hope for the salmon run because it gets like more of a mix of fish. So like it gets salmon. It gets between the salmon, it's cohos and chinooks, and then you get browns and steelhead to come up with them to eat the eggs. And when you're fishing salmon and steelhead, the steelhead are more willing to bite because you're fishing egg. Well, if you're fishing eggs, the steelhead will bite that too, because that's what's in the river system at the time. So basically, what they feed on in the river, when it's just them in the river, no other species. Well, I'm pretty sure there's other species, but they're not like really existent. So you basically just find the hatch. So what finding the hatch means is like go in the river, flip rocks. If you find like leeches, little stone flies, some nymph, or dragonflies, or little caddis flies, you just match the hatch basically. So like when I went, I was looking through the river. I knew there was eggs in the river, so started off throwing an egg pattern. Didn't get any on that. And then I switched over to a bunny leech. Hooked two on it. Didn't land them. Because I sort of horsed them in, and that straightened the hook out. Um, but anyway, it basically, I don't know, you gotta fight the fish the way they want to be fought. So, basically, you just do your thing as a normal fisherman. Um, but really, for salmon and steelhead, you really gotta put the work in. There'll be days that you don't get any, and there'll be days that you just can't get them off the hook. Like, opening day in Port Hope, that was pretty fun. We went up the day before open, and basically scouted the river, looked for spots. There was a lot of fish in the system, a lot of big ones too. Um, so we basically walked up and down the river, scouting spots. Um, Found a couple in this one hole that we fished for all morning, and we basically got up at 3:59 in the morning, and went down to the river, and it was dry for the first part of the morning, and then it just turned to shit. It started raining, but when it rained, it put the fish on, and first couple casts, just finding out where the fish or what the fish were biting. That that was really a big game changer. I put on the egg sucking leech in purple, and just started twitching it in, and I was getting like follows, and then I was just like, okay, well if I'm getting follows, might as well just like, I don't know, like slowly drift it in to like the bunch of fish. So I did, and hookup after hookup after hookup. Lost the first couple fish. Was my fault. I either set the hook too early, or just fought them way too hard. Um, or they just were using that current to their advantage, and it was popping up. But I wasn't really experienced at that time, and I just kept working on it, and then seeing what to do better each fish I hooked. So basically, I just basically started cast and drift, and watch to the line for it to jump. And this one time, the first fish I landed was on spawn. That was pretty fun. So it's just drifting this shallow, like to 5 feet pool that was behind a couple rapids, and basically drifted the spawn sack in. And then as I was maneuvering it around the rock, Steelhead came up and crushed it. And I set the hook, and he ran for like a good 15 to 20 meters. And then I got him in. Nice, like 8 to 9 pound buck, steelhead. And then I was just like, hey, my buddy Jacob was smashing them on the fly. I was like, hey, can I give the fly rod a try? Because it's my fly rod, obviously. But I let him use it for a good time. He was hooking up. Got one, and then got two. So I picked it up. Lost the first three, and then the fourth one, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take my time with it. So basically, what we did was drift it, and then waited for the jump, and then set the hook extremely hard. As soon as that line jumped, you set it extremely hard, and then you basically let go of that line because it's gone. There's no stopping it when you first hook it. And my one, it was like it was a 14.5 pound steelhead, and it went up river, good 300 yards of in no time, and then he came flying back down the river, and then I chased him a good 500 meters, and then he got tired, and then I kept gaining on him, got him to the net, and then he darted, and then got him to the net again, got him. It's 14.5 pound steely, big one. Let him go, because I wasn't keeping big fish like that. Um, Barely kept any. Um, and then the second cast, I don't know what I was doing. I was talking to my buddy, and I was just paying attention to the line as I was just tapping it, like stripping it in slowly, and then I felt a big hit, and then it was game on, and then basically hooked this big hen, and she freaked. She jumped like 5 to 6 feet out of the air. Um, and then it like jumped again and then popped off, and that was pretty heartbreaking. But it's always more. And then basically it was. I didn't do anything wrong. I know that. It was just I don't know weak hook set or something. But yeah, she was like a good 20 pound steely, big hen, a big hen. And like I fought her for like 10 minutes, and she just kept jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping. The last jump, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose it, I'm gonna lose it. Then the line went loose, and then she jumped again, and hook came flying out. And then hook flied it, popped out. And then as I'm stripping back in to make another cast, this another big buck came up and smashed. I hooked him, got him, and then I hooked it good. It was in the mouth and through, like in the mouth and in the flesh that's there. And then I got him in, and at the net he popped, but my buddy was fast enough to scoop him, and then we got him, got a couple pictures, and then just kept improving from there. But yeah, nice. It was a good trip, fun trip too. Gonna definitely do that again. For sure, do that again. Go up to Port Hope for salmon and steelhead this year, and then hit Port Hope again in the spring of 2019, and then do it all over again. I've been fishing for salmon mostly for like 4 years. I got that down pat on the spinning combos. But fly scene is, for me, I'm definitely going to start fly fishing for them. Because I've got steelhead off the list for fly fishing. I've got basically all the trout species except rainbow trout and cutthroat trout and char and splake and lake trout. But I also have to really get places to catch them. And then got largemouth and smallmouth off the list. Got chub, creek chub, and river chub. That's fun. Got perch off it for fucking sunfish, carp on the fly. Hooked some gar on the fly. Caught bowfin on the fly. That was exciting. I haven't got pike yet on the fly, but I've got most of the species on the fly. So just gotta get them. I just gotta get throwing it more. So well, this phone is gonna die. So probably see you guys in the next video, which I'm hoping to get a video uploaded in another like, I don't know, video that I never posted from the steelhead trip. It's gonna be like 20 minutes after open. I got a buck, my friend got a hen, and that's basically all I have for steelhead footage, because didn't have a GoPro, or else there'd be more footage. But yeah, it was just so action-packed, you'd say. And yeah, that's why. So, Bass Hunters TV, we'll see you guys in the next video, or the next live. Tight lines, and see you guys later.